My fellow Americans, this is probably the most significant video I'm going to do, and I'm hopefully speaking to the religious of the world, Christians and Jews, not Islamics, because I just not believe that Islamics believe in the same benevolent God that we believe in. Okay, the first statement. I want you to read everything that you see on here. It's enhancements to what I'm saying. The first statement is communism, Machiavellian communism is what we live in, and we're all communists. And what is communism? Communism is a religion. It has all the elements of a religion, except instead of being one monotheistic God, it's multiple gods. It's senators, congressmen, of course, presidents and vice presidents make themselves demigods. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. If you sit and think about it, that's what they're doing right now. They've been doing it for many years, ever since Hollywood started promulgating communism. But communism is the most evil, destructive force ever conceived. It leads to death, destruction, devastation, immorality, drugs. It leads to police actions that just kill vainly. It leads to wars. It leads to devastation of hearts and minds. It leads to insanity. It leads to breakdown of religion. Why? Because it's just a fact. It does. It does this because it takes away your God-given freedom. And man evolved through 3.5 million years with God's help, evolved with very little, disruption to his freedom. There were very few laws. And then Moses came along and, came up with 10 laws that God gave him and 614 pragmatic laws. Most people don't realize that, by the way. The 614 laws are mostly pragmatic. You can't eat milk with meat because if you eat milk with meat today that's pasteurized, there's no problem. But if the milk is not pasteurized, you'll get sick and possibly even die. So the early concepts are what should hold true. And of course, Christ came along and added to all the early concepts of law and how to live and his teachings with love and compassion. And I want you to react that same way, not violently to all this. Some of this will make you very mad because you're going to be mad because your preachers and rabbis and priests have not been telling you this. Some priests do and some pastors do, but not very many because they have to be politically correct. They're afraid to speak out. Whereas, if they're afraid to speak out, they're not carrying the cross. They're not really being Christians. And as far as being Jews, they're not really being Jews because the master concept of Judaism is the preservation of individual lives. So is Christianity. Individual lives, not communities. These Machiavellian communists, you watch my other videos, believe for the good of the all. They can kill, rape, whatever they want. If it's for the masses, it's good. And they truly believe that, for they don't know what they're doing. Okay, just a brief word in here about what you must do and everything. You must do the same thing as the non-believers. But you must do more. You have more responsibility. You must stop this abortion stuff. And don't go up and have these abortion signs and these theistic signs. All the people don't understand that. They don't believe. You can't convince them to change their ideology based on your beliefs. It's just ridiculous. Tell them the same thing as I say in my videos. Tell them that in 1972 when they did the Roe versus Wade, that is ridiculous. It's false premises. A woman's body is an incubator. The baby is not part of it. The baby is a baby as soon as the first two cells recombine. Obviously, I don't know how anybody of sane mind can argue that. If it's allowed to develop, it turns into a baby. That's like saying it's not a human being until it goes through for example, menopause or anything. It's just ridiculous. It's just another stage of life. And then also, of course, it negates laws. It negates the 10 Commandments. I don't know how you can live with that. I don't know how you can live with abortions as being Christians and Jews. I don't know how you can live with the crazy insanity of this evil religion called Islam. See my other tapes. I have some tapes on that. I mean, you should know this. And your ministers and rabbis and priests should be telling you this. This is not a religion of God. Allah is not God. Allah is Satan. And if you're not aware of that, just open your eyes. What other religion can you imagine your priest or minister telling you take your child and put a bomb on and put it out in the middle and kill a bunch of people? That's insanity. That's not a benevolent God. Come on. It's just it's imponderable how you can't comprehend this. And you must start right now today. Make your ministers watch this. Make them watch it over and over. Tell them what's wrong with it. What is this guy nuts or something? No, he isn't nuts. Of course, they won't know what to say. They'll come up with some Bible readings, and then read Luke. Throughout Luke, in of course the New Testament, there's tremendous number of times where Christ, he eats with the taxpayers, and they ask tax collectors, which are the form of government, and that's the Greeks, by the way. The tax collectors work for the Greeks. And, he's asked, why does he do this? Well, why? He says, they're sinners in it. I'm here to repent and get these people to change. You should be doing the same thing, every one of you. Your ministers are all rabbis and priests. I don't know. I just can't believe how they've reacted in the past 100 years or so when this started. It really started after 1946, communism in America. Before that, we were not that way. Okay. I don't know if I can get this all in. I'm going to try to go faster because I have a lot to tell you. What you have to do today is start spreading this video, first of all. And then all my other videos. My other videos are for non-believers too. But you as a believer have to. You're obligated to do this. This is not even my words. Just think where my words are coming from. You have to make a change. Nobody else is. And you have to pass this on and get together in groups. And if you want to petition against abortions, do it the right way. Go to these political leaders and say, hey, I'm not going to argue with you about this. It's obvious that you're killing babies. It's obvious that you're promulgating this insane religion called Islam by not telling the truth. It's obvious, these things. So I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to vote you out of office. I'm going to petition you out of office. And every product that you sell and anything you're related to, I'm not going to buy. And all my Christians and fellow Jews are going to do the same. And you're never going to be elected again. Then they'll start changing. That's like Jesus sitting down at dinner with them and trying to explain them their transgressions. They won't see it, okay? But you'll have to vote new people in. Vote in Christians and Jews and devout people of humanity with education, with backgrounds of history to know all these things. Vote in the right kind of people that don't, disseminate the truth with lies and destruction and obvious incorrectnesses. Okay. Let me say a brief word about Hollywood in here. You know what you should do if this system maintains? You should insist on the Hollywood, all the stars and all the people related to, because most of them are communists, is them proclaiming that they are. I mean, they say they owe their allegiance to Obama. What is that? That's a religion form of communism. That's the same thing as communism. And they're almost all obviously communists. Fine. Tell them if they're obvious communists, they believe in dissemination of wealth. Fine. They're only allowed $50,000 a year. All the other money they have to give to the government or religious causes or, disseminated around the world and save lives. They're not allowed more than 50. And also they have to serve in the military in these police actions. And their children have to serve. They're mandatory they have to serve. Watch when you tell them that. You're going to petition that they must do this per law. And you'll see the communists in the not in the news media, there's some in the news media too, not in Fox, but in the rest of the news media, you'll see they'll change. They'll slowly change. They'll see the light. They play a movie role and they think they know everything. That's absurd. They know nothing, really. And they're abundant in television, too, the same way. They're communistic. And, it's real irony, because if this goes on with Obama pushing things the way he is, they'll be eventually affected, too. But affect them today. Petition the lawmakers to make laws to make them serve their nation in the military conflicts. You never hear of them serving, do you? You never hear of their children serving. Also, when they think they're worried about getting sick, they have enough money to buy hospitals out, for crying out loud. Make them the reality of the rest of the world, and they'll start changing too. And do all this today. Form your self-organized groups. Get people to watch this video and my others. This is the 7th one. I have 6 other ones that explain it more existentially. But I'm telling you, the religious of the world, it's your obligation to do this. It's your obligation. If you say you're religious and you believe in God and Christ and the benevolent conceptions and the Bible and everything, you have to do this. You can't sit down and wait for them to completely take over, which they're going to soon do. And when they completely take over, anything that you do will be in vain. So get off your butts and start acting like Christians and Jews.